The sun has finally gone. The last streak of orange light has faded from the rough plaster of the wall, leaving the room in a soft, gray shadow. There is nothing you need to do right now. The day is over. The work is finished. The history books are closed. You do not need to remember any dates. You do not need to remember any names. You can just listen to the slow, steady rhythm of a night in the ancient world. Imagine a small room. It is not a palace. It is not a grand villa with marble floors. It is a simple room in a Roman apartment block known as an insula. The walls are made of brick and timber, thick and uneven. The floor is covered in simple terracotta tiles, cool to the touch. The air is still. It is heavy with the smell of the day, dust, dried herbs, and the faint, oily scent of a clay lamp burning in the corner. The flame of the lamp is small. It flickers gently, casting long, dancing shadows against the ceiling. The oil in the lamp is cheap. It burns with a slow, sputtering sound. Hiss, pop, silence. In this room, a Roman citizen is preparing for rest. It is a process that happens every night, a routine as old as the empire itself. There is no rush. In the ancient world, the night is long and the light is expensive, so things move very slowly. Watch in your mind's eye the simple motion of a hand reaching out to adjust the wick of the lamp. The movement is sluggish, tired. The primary piece of furniture in the room is the bed, the lectus. It is not soft. It is not inviting in the way we think of beds today. It is a wooden frame raised off the ground on 4 sturdy legs. The wood is old, darkened by years of smoke and touch. Across the frame, ropes are stretched tight, a web of thick, scratchy ropes that form the base for the mattress. The mattress itself is a sack of heavy wool stuffed with straw, not feathers, not cotton, just dried, brittle straw. When you press your hand against it, it crunches softly. It creates a sound like dry leaves rustling in a slow wind. Crinkle, shift, settle. This is where the night begins, not with sleep but with the inspection. In the Roman Empire, silence is rare. Even now, though the sun is down, the city breathes. But inside this room, the focus is small. The focus is on the bed. Before the citizen can lie down, they must check the frame. This is the nightly ritual. This is the torture of the title, but tonight it is just a chore. A slow, boring chore. The bedbugs or Cimex are waiting. They are a part of life here. They hide in the joints of the wooden frame. They hide in the cracks of the plaster wall near the bed. They are tiny, flat, and patient. They do not roar. They do not fight. They simply wait. The citizen holds the oil lamp closer to the wood. The light reveals the texture of the grain. They look closely at the corner where the leg meets the frame. It is a slow inspection, eyes straining in the dim light, looking for the telltale signs. A small dark spot, a cluster of tiny eggs. There is a bucket of water nearby mixed with vinegar. The smell is sharp, cutting through the stale air. A rag is dipped into the bucket. Drip, drip, drip. The wet cloth is wiped slowly along the wood. Back and forth, cleaning the frame, attempting to keep the night peaceful. It is a repetitive motion. The arm moves left. The arm moves right. The rough cloth catches on the splinters of the wood. The vinegar soaks into the timber. It is not a battle. It is just maintenance, like sweeping a floor, like washing a bowl. If you are listening, you do not need to worry about the bugs. They are far away, trapped in the past, trapped in the dust of history. You are safe. You are comfortable. This is just a story of a routine. The mattress is lifted. It is heavy and awkward. The straw inside shifts, bunching up in the corners. The citizen must punch the mattress. A dull thud echoes in the small room. Thump, thump. They are trying to flatten the straw to make a level surface for sleeping. It is never truly flat. It is always lumpy. It is always uneven. In the silence, you can hear the sounds of the building settling. The insula is tall, 5 or 6 stories high, packed with families. Above, footsteps creak on the wooden floorboards. A slow, heavy pace. Creak. Pause. Creak. Someone else is walking to their bed. Someone else is checking for bugs. Someone else is tired. Through the small window, which has no glass, only a heavy wooden shutter, a draft comes in. The shutter is closed, barred with a latch, but the wind finds the gaps. It whistles quietly, a thin, high-pitched tone that comes and goes. The air outside is cooling down, dropping the heat of the Roman day, bringing a chill that settles near the floor. The citizen sits on the edge of the bed. The ropes groan under the weight. They untie their sandals. The leather laces are stiff. It takes time to undo the knots, fingers working slowly, pulling the loop, loosening the strap. The leather makes a soft scraping sound against the skin. One sandal drops to the floor. Clack. Then silence. Then the other sandal. Fingers pulling, the knot giving way. The sandal drops. Clack. Now bare feet touch the cold tiles. The sensation is grounding. The cold travels up the legs. It is a moment of pause. The citizen sits there, elbows on knees, staring at the flickering lamp. There is no phone to check, no book to read, no electricity to hum, just the flame eating the oil millisecond by millisecond. The smell of the room is changing slightly. The vinegar on the bed frame is drying, leaving a sour, acidic scent mixed with the straw. It is the scent of a Roman bedroom. It is the scent of waiting for sleep. To keep the bugs away, some Romans would burn sulfur. Imagine that for a moment. A small metal dish is placed near the bed. A pinch of yellow powder is sprinkled onto a hot coal. A thin ribbon of smoke rises up. It smells like matches. It smells like earth and fire. It is thick and choking, but it is better than the itch. The smoke drifts through the room. It moves slowly, curling around the legs of the table, curling around the legs of the bed. It forms a haze near the ceiling. It makes the eyes water slightly. The citizen blinks, slowly, heavily. It is almost time to lie down, but the anxiety of the bedbug remains. It is a low-level worry, a dull thought. Will they bite tonight? Will I wake up scratching? It is not a fear of death. It is a fear of annoyance, a fear of a broken night. This is the torture, the anticipation of the itch. The knowledge that you are sharing your bed with thousands of tiny, hungry guests. But for now, they are hidden. The vinegar has been wiped. The sulfur has been burned. The ritual is done. The citizen stands up one last time to adjust the blanket. The blanket is made of rough wool. It is scratchy and thick. It is dyed a dull brown or red, the colors of the earth. It is heavy. When pulled, it drags across the straw mattress with a distinct sound. Shh-hush. The pillow is not soft. It is often a bag stuffed with reeds or more straw, sometimes just a folded cloak. It offers little comfort, it merely lifts the head. The citizen blows out the lamp. The room plunges into darkness, absolute darkness. There are no streetlights outside. There are no LEDs on a television. There is only the dark. For a moment the eyes try to adjust. They see nothing, but the ears become sharper. In the dark, the sounds of Rome become clearer. Far away in the distance, a dog barks, once, twice, then silence. You can hear the wind pressing against the shutter again. You can hear the breathing of the person in the next room through the thin walls, a rhythmic, muffled sound. The citizen lies down, the ropes of the bed squeak, the straw crunches. The wool blanket is pulled up to the chin. The fabric is coarse against the skin. It itches slightly, but it is warm. The body begins to warm the space beneath the covers. Now the waiting begins, lying still in the dark, listening, waiting for the heart rate to slow down, waiting for the mind to empty. But in the Roman night, the bed is not just a place to sleep. It is a landscape, a terrain of hills and valleys made of straw. And somewhere in that terrain, the Cimex are waking up. They sense the warmth. They sense the carbon dioxide of the breath. But do not worry. That is happening to the Roman citizen, not to you. You are simply observing. You are floating above the scene, detached and calm. You can watch the darkness. You can listen to the silence. The citizen shifts their leg, the straw rustles. They are trying to find a comfortable spot, a spot where the ropes don't dig into their hip. It takes time. A shift to the left, a shift to the right, a sigh of resignation. The air in the room is cooling further. The stone walls hold the cold. The heavy wool blanket feels good now. It is a shield, a heavy, scratchy shield against the night. Everything is slow. The timeline of the night stretches out. There are no clocks ticking. Time is measured only by the passing of the guards outside or the movement of the stars, which cannot be seen through the closed shutter. This is the beginning of the long night. The body is tired. The mind is dull. The world has shrunk down to the size of this mattress, this scratchy wool, this smell of vinegar and smoke. There is nothing else, just the dark, just the quiet, just the slow, patient waiting for sleep to come or for the first itch to begin. It is calm, it is boring, it is exactly as it should be. The room has settled into a deeper state of gray. If you were standing in the corner, you would see nothing but the vague outline of the window frame, a slightly lighter square against the total black of the interior. The oil lamp is long dead. The smoke from the extinguished wick has finally dissipated, leaving only the stale, dry air of the apartment. The citizen is lying on their back. Their eyes are closed. Listen to the breathing. It is the only rhythm in the room right now. Inhale, a slow, dragging intake of air through the nose. Exhale, a soft, heavy release through the mouth. The chest rises and falls beneath the heavy wool blanket. Up, down, up, down. It has been an hour since the lamp was blown out. Sleep has not come. In ancient Rome, sleep is not a switch you turn on. It is a waiting game. It is a slow negotiation with the environment. The body is heavy. The muscles in the legs are tired from walking on the stone pavements of the Forum all day. The lower back aches from sitting on backless wooden benches. You can feel gravity pulling the body down into the mattress. But the mattress pushes back. Remember the straw. It is not memory foam. It does not contour to the shape of the shoulder or the hip. It is a sack of dried stalks. Every time the citizen breathes in, the slight expansion of the ribcage presses against the straw. The straw makes a microscopic sound, crinkle. It is a sound so quiet you would miss it during the day. But now, in the silence, it sounds like dry paper crumbling right next to the ear. The citizen shifts their weight to the left side. The ropes of the bed frame groan. Eerg. The wood complains. The straw bunches up under the hip, creating a hard lump. The citizen reaches down with a hand. They push the lump of straw, they try to flatten it. Pat, pat, push. It helps a little. The lump spreads out. The hip settles again. Silence returns. But then the sound begins. It starts as a vibration in the floor tiles, a low, trembling sensation that travels up the legs of the bed. Then the sound follows, a deep, rolling rumble. Rumbles, rumble, rumble. It is the sound of wheels on stone. In the daytime, Rome is for people. The streets are crowded with pedestrians, so wagons and heavy carts are banned from the city center during daylight hours. But now it is night. The ban is lifted. The supply chain of the empire is waking up. The wagons are coming. These are not modern trucks with rubber tires and smooth suspension. These are heavy, wooden carts with iron-rimmed wheels. They are loaded with marble, with timber, with amphorae of wine and oil. Thousands of pounds of weight pressing down on the uneven cobblestones of the street below. Clatter, clatter, boom. The sound grows louder. It echoes off the tall stone walls of the Insula apartment blocks. The narrow streets act like canyons, amplifying the noise. It is a harsh, grinding sound, iron grinding against stone, wood creaking under tension. The citizen squeezes their eyes shut tighter. They pull the rough wool blanket up over their ear to muffle the noise. It dulls the sound, but it does not stop it. Grind, bump, rattle. You can hear the hooves of the oxen or mules pulling the cart. Clop, 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 clop. The rhythm is slow and heavy. The animals are tired too. Sometimes a driver shouts a command, a rough, guttural voice in the dark. Ha or staya. The cart passes directly beneath the window. The room shakes slightly. The shutter rattles in its frame. Tack, tack, tack. Dust falls from the ceiling beams, invisible in the dark. And then slowly the cart moves on. The sound begins to fade. The grinding becomes a rumble again. The rumble becomes a hum. The hum becomes a memory. Silence returns. But the silence is different now. The mind has been stirred. The citizen is awake, listening for the next cart, because there is always a next cart. Rome needs food. Rome needs stone. The night is not for sleeping. The night is for logistics. Inside the bed, the temperature is rising. The heavy wool blanket traps the body heat. The citizen is wearing a simple tunic, a linen shirt that reaches the knees. The linen is soft, but it is bunching up around the waist as they toss and turn. And now the first itch. It starts on the ankle, a small, specific sensation. Is it a bug? The citizen freezes. They lie perfectly still. Every nerve ending is focused on that one spot on the left ankle. Maybe it is just the wool blanket scratching the skin. Wool is coarse. It has loose fibers that tickle. Maybe it is a loose piece of straw that has poked through the mattress cover. Or maybe it is a Cimex, a bedbug. The thought circles in the mind. The citizen waits. If it moves, it is a bug. If it stays still, it is just an itch. The sensation stays still. The citizen exhales. It was just an itch. They rub their left ankle with their right foot. The rough skin of the heel scratches the itch away. Scritch, scritch. The relief is momentary. The citizen turns over to the other side, now facing the wall. The wall is cold. It radiates a chill that can be felt on the face even from a few inches away. The plaster is rough. If the hand brushes against it, it feels like sandpaper. The smell of the vinegar used earlier to clean the bed frame has faded, replaced by the smell of the street, dust, and animal manure, drifting in through the cracks in the shutter. Time passes. There is no clock on the wall. There is no glowing digital display to say it is 11:00 p.m. or 1:00 a.m. Time is measured only by the feeling of exhaustion and the passage of the wagons. Another cart approaches. Rumble, rumble. This one is lighter, maybe a smaller delivery wagon. The wheels turn faster. Click-clack, click-clack. It passes quickly. The citizen sighs, a long, frustrated sigh that fills the small room. They adjust the pillow. The pillow is hard. It is stuffed with reeds. It doesn't give way like a feather pillow. It feels like resting your head on a bag of dried grass, which is exactly what it is. The neck feels stiff. The citizen tries to punch the pillow into a better shape. Thud, thud. It doesn't help much. Let us look closely at the bed frame again in the dark. Deep inside the joint of the wood, where the leg meets the side rail, there is movement. It is very small. A tiny, flat, reddish-brown insect creates a slight vibration. It has been dormant, hiding in the safety of the crack during the daylight and the cleaning ritual. But now, the scent of the carbon dioxide from the citizen's breath is calling to it. It moves slowly. It does not run, it crawls. It moves out of the crack, it steps onto the open wood of the frame, it pauses. Its antennae twitch, sensing the air. It smells the warmth. The citizen does not know this yet. The citizen is trying to think about tomorrow. They are thinking about the price of grain. They are thinking about the repair needed on their sandals. Boring thoughts, mundane thoughts, thoughts that usually help one drift off to sleep. But the body is uncomfortable, the tunic is twisted. The blanket is too hot, but the air in the room is too cold to remove it. It is a constant battle of temperature regulation. One leg comes out from under the blanket to cool down. The air hits the skin. It feels good for a moment. Then it feels too cold. The leg goes back under. Rustle, slide, tuck. The cycle repeats. Outside, the wind picks up. It howls through the alleyway. It sounds like a low whistle. Woo-woo. A shutter bangs against a wall somewhere down the street. Bang. Then silence. Then bang. The rhythm of the city is uneven. It is not a steady white noise. It is jagged. It prevents the brain from fully shutting down. Just as the citizen starts to drift into a light doze, bang, the shutter slams again. The eyes open in the dark, staring at nothing. The citizen rolls onto their back again. The ropes creak, the straw crunches. They stare up at the ceiling they cannot see. They count the beams in their mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. They know where they are even in the dark. The itch returns. This time it is on the forearm. It is sharp. It is distinct. This is not wool. This is not straw. The citizen slaps their arm in the dark. Smack. The sound is loud in the quiet room. They rub the spot vigorously. Did they get it? Was it even there? There is no way to know. Lighting the lamp is too much effort. It costs money. It requires finding the flint and steel. It is better to just lie there and wonder. The paranoia settles in. The skin feels like it is crawling, even if nothing is there. Every drift of air from the window feels like tiny legs walking on the skin. The mind creates sensations that aren't real. The bedbug nightmare is often psychological. It is the fear of the bite more than the bite itself. The citizen pulls the blanket up tighter, creating a cocoon. Only the nose and mouth are exposed. This is the defense strategy. Minimize surface area, but the blanket is heavy. It presses down on the toes. It presses down on the chest. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Another heavy wagon is coming. This one sounds very heavy. Loaded with stone columns for a temple. The floor shakes. The bed shakes. The citizen lies there, vibrating gently with the rhythm of the empire's logistics. There is nothing to do but wait. Wait for the wagon to pass. Wait for the itch to stop. Wait for the morning. It is boring. It is uncomfortable. It is a long, dark endurance test, and the night has only just begun. The night has now stretched into its middle phase. The heaviest of the large supply wagons have passed for the moment, leaving a temporary gap in the roaring traffic of the street below. The stone pavement outside is quiet, save for the occasional hurried footstep of a late messenger or the scuffling of a stray dog. Inside the room, the silence is heavy, but it is not empty. In an insula, true silence does not exist. The building is a living organism, packed with hundreds of people, layer upon layer, family upon family. The walls are thin. The floors are merely wooden planks laid over beams, with a bit of plaster underneath. Sound travels through these materials as easily as water flows through a sieve. The citizen is still awake. They have given up on trying to force sleep. They are now simply lying there, enduring the passage of time. Listen to the sound coming from the wall on the left. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. Phew. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. Phew. It is a snore, a rhythmic, grinding snore coming from the neighbor in the next apartment. It is a man, perhaps a laborer or a shopkeeper, exhausted from his day. His breathing is heavy and wet. The sound vibrates through the brickwork. It enters the citizen's room, distinct and unavoidable. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. The citizen stares at the dark ceiling, waiting for the next breath. Phew, there it is. It is a loop. A sonic loop that repeats every 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. 1, 2, 3. Phew. The citizen turns their head to the side, pressing their ear into the hard, straw-stuffed pillow. The straw crunches loudly, crinkle crunch, drowning out the snore for a split second. But the straw settles and the snore returns. It is muffled now, but still there, a low thrumming in the background of the night. The air in the room has become stale. The windows are shut tight to keep out thieves and the cold, but this means the carbon dioxide from the citizens' own breathing and the lingering smell of the lamp oil is trapped. The room feels close. It feels small. The citizen's throat is dry. The back of the tongue feels like sandpaper. The thirst is a slow, nagging sensation. It starts small, just a thought, but it grows until it is the only thing the mind can focus on. They must get up. This is a decision that takes minutes to make. To get up means losing the warmth of the wool blanket. To get up means facing the dark room where the furniture edges are invisible. To get up means putting bare feet on the freezing floor. But the thirst is too much. Slowly, the citizen pushes the heavy blanket down. The cool air of the room rushes in, hitting the warm skin. It causes a shiver, a physical shudder that runs from the shoulders to the toes. Brrrrrrr. They swing their legs over the side of the bed. The ropes creak, yerk. The feet search for the floor. The toes curl, expecting the cold. Touch. The terracotta tiles are icy. The cold shoots up through the soles of the feet. It is a shock to the system, waking the brain up even more. The citizen stands up. They are careful. In the pitch black, the room is an obstacle course. They shuffle forward. Shuffle. Shuffle. They do not lift their feet high. They slide them along the tiles to avoid stubbing a toe on the leg of a stool or the corner of a chest. Hands are reached out in front, waving slowly in the darkness. Feeling for the wall, feeling for the table. Fingers brush against rough plaster. Fingers brush against wood. The table is here. On the table sits a pitcher. It is a simple clay jug, unglazed on the outside, rough to the touch. Beside it is a cup, also clay. The citizen fumbles for the handle of the pitcher. The ceramic makes a scraping sound against the wooden table. Scrape. They lift the pitcher. It is heavy. It is half full. They find the cup with the other hand. Now comes the delicate task of pouring water in the dark. They tilt the pitcher. They listen. They rely on the sound of the water to know when to stop. Glug, glug, glug. The sound of water falling into the clay cup. It is a wet, hollow sound. Stop. A drop spills over the edge. Splap. It hits the floor. The citizen lifts the cup to their lips. The rim of the cup is thick and gritty. It is cheap pottery. They drink. The water is not cold. It is tepid. Room temperature. It tastes of the clay, an earthy mineral taste. It tastes of the river it came from, transported via the aqueducts, stored in a lead pipe or a cistern, and then carried up 5 flights of stairs in a bucket. It is flat and stale, but it is wet. Gulp, gulp. The water slides down the dry throat. The sensation is relieving. The stomach cools down slightly. The citizen lowers the cup. They place it back on the table. Clink. Now, standing in the middle of the dark room, there is another need. The bladder is full. In a modern home, one would walk to a bathroom. In a Roman insula, there is no bathroom. There is no plumbing on the upper floors. There is only the lasanum, the chamber pot. It is kept under the bed. The citizen shuffles back across the cold tiles. Shuffle, shuffle, they reach the bed, they crouch down. Their knees pop, click. The hand reaches under the wooden frame, sweeping across the dusty floor. Fingers touch cold ceramic, the handle of the pot. They pull it out, scrape. The sound of the pot sliding across the tiles is loud. It echoes. The citizen stands. They use the pot. It is a humble, boring, necessary act. The sound of liquid hitting the bottom of the ceramic vessel. Tinkle, splash. The smell rises immediately. It is sharp and ammonia-rich. It mixes with the stale air of the room. This is the smell of the Roman night. Every room in this building, every room in this city smells like this by the third watch. The task is done. The pot is slid back under the bed. Scrape. It will be dealt with in the morning. Someone will have to carry it down the stairs to the street-side vat or the public latrine. But that is a chore for tomorrow. The citizen stands by the bed, shivering again. The cold has thoroughly penetrated the thin tunic. It is time to return to the mattress. They climb back onto the lectus. The ropes groan again, louder this time. Groan. The straw mattress has cooled down in the few minutes the citizen was away. The warm spot is gone. They must begin the process of heating the bed all over again. They pull the wool blanket up. They tuck it under their feet. They tuck it under their shoulders. They lie on their side, curling into a ball to conserve heat. The shivers slowly subside. The breathing slows down. But now, the sensory deprivation of the darkness amplifies a new sensation. The bedbug bite. It happened while the citizen was standing, or perhaps right as they lay back down. It is on the back of the neck. A sharp, stinging sensation. The citizen's hand flies to the neck. Fingers scratch desperately at the skin. Scritch, scratch, scritch. Nails against skin. The itch is intense. It burns. The mind visualizes the creature, the flat body, the beak piercing the skin, drinking the blood. It is a violation. The citizen rolls over. They rub their neck against the rough pillow, trying to soothe the itch with friction. It helps for a moment, but the heat of the irritation remains. And now the mind is fully alert. Where are the others? If one bit, are there more? The citizen feels a phantom tickle on their leg. They kick their leg out. Thump. Nothing there, just the blanket. They feel a tickle on their arm. They brush it away rapidly. Swish. Nothing there, just the hair on the arm moving in the draft. This is the psychological torture. The bedbug nightmare. You cannot see the enemy. You cannot hear the enemy. You can only feel the aftermath of the attack. You are bait. You are simply food waiting to be eaten in the dark. The citizen lies rigid. Every muscle is tense, waiting for the next bite. The silence of the room presses in. The neighbor's snore returns. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. Phew. H-R-R-R-R-R-R. Phew. It is a rhythm of endurance. The citizen closes their eyes. They try to visualize a calm ocean. They try to visualize a quiet garden, but the garden is full of bugs. Somewhere in the walls, a mouse skitters, scratch, 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 tiny claws on wood. It is running inside the wall cavity, or maybe it is on the floor. The citizen listens. The scratching stops. Then it starts again further away. It is just a mouse. Mice are better than rats. Rats bite the face. Mice just steal the grain. A mouse is acceptable. The citizen sighs. A long, shuddering breath. The itch on the neck is throbbing slightly. A dull pulse. The cold feet are slowly warming up. The taste of the clay water lingers in the mouth. There is nothing to do, no radio to turn on, no screen to watch, no pill to take, just the waiting. The Roman night is a test of patience. It is a vast, empty space that must be filled with nothing but breathing and scratching. The citizen shifts the straw mattress again. Crinkle. They pull the blanket higher. Whip. They stare into the dark, eyes open, watching the blackness swirl, waiting for the fourth watch, waiting for the dawn, but the dawn is hours away. We have reached the deepest valley of the night. This is the hour when the city of Rome seems to hold its breath, if only for a few minutes. The heavy wagons that were thundering by earlier have thinned out. The rush of logistics has slowed. Now, there is a heavy, blanketed silence that sits on top of the 7 hills. Inside the insula, the darkness feels physical. It has weight, it presses against the eyes. If you open your eyes, you see black. If you close your eyes, you see black. There is no difference. The room has lost its dimensions. The walls, the ceiling, the door, they are all gone. There is only the sensation of the body floating in a void of cold air and scratchy wool. The temperature has dropped significantly. The stone of the building has absorbed the heat of the day and released it hours ago. Now, the stone is acting like a block of ice. It pulls the warmth out of the air. It pulls the warmth out of the room. The citizen is curled into a tight ball. This is the fetal position, a primal instinct to conserve heat. The knees are pulled up to the chest. The chin is tucked down. The hands are wedged between the thighs to keep the fingers warm. Listen to the sound of the wool blanket. Scritch, rub. Every time the citizen breathes, the rough fabric rubs against the stubble on their chin or the skin of their cheek. It is a microscopic friction. Scritch, rub. The wool is not like modern fleece. It is oily. It still holds the lanolin from the sheep. It smells faintly of the animal it came from, a damp, musky barnyard scent that becomes stronger as the body heat warms the fibers. It is a smell of the countryside, trapped in a crowded city apartment. The citizen is awake, again, or perhaps they never truly fell asleep. They are in a state of torpor, a shallow, gray twilight between waking and sleeping. In this state, the body is numb, but the mind is vaguely aware of every discomfort. And the discomfort is growing. The hip bone, specifically the greater trochanter, is pressing down into the mattress. Remember, the mattress is just straw. Over the last few hours, the weight of the body has compressed the straw stalks. They have flattened out. They have parted ways. Now, there is very little cushioning left between the hip bone and the wooden ropes of the bed frame. It starts as a dull ache, a pressure. Then it becomes a throb. The citizen tries to ignore it. They tell themselves, do not move. If you move, you will let the cold air in. So they lie there, tolerating the pressure. The ache travels down the thigh. It travels up into the lower back. The body is asking to turn over. The mind is refusing. But eventually, the pain wins. The citizen prepares to move. It is a major operation. It requires planning. They must roll over without lifting the blanket. They must spin like a log. Ready, heave. The body rolls. The ropes scream. The wood of the bed frame pops. Crack. The straw crunches loudly like someone stepping on dry autumn leaves. crunch rustle. The citizen lands on the other side. The right hip is now the victim. The left hip throbs with relief as the blood flow returns. But there is a consequence. The movement has created a gap in the blanket. A pocket of freezing air rushes in near the shoulders. It hits the skin like cold water. Gasp. The citizen frantically grabs the edge of the blanket. They pull it tight. They tuck it under the chin. They shudder, shiver, shiver, shiver. It takes time to warm up the new pocket of air. The body has to work harder. The heart rate speeds up slightly. Thump, 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 thump. Now on the new side, the citizen faces the window. Through the cracks in the wooden shutter, a faint, eerie change is happening. The wind has shifted. Earlier it was a whistle. Now it is a moan. It comes from the north, from over the Alps, sweeping down the Italian peninsula. It carries a bite. Hoo-woo, it rattles the shutter against the latch. Clack, clack, hoo-woo, clack, clack. The citizen stares at the invisible window. They wonder if the latch will hold. If the wind blows the shutter open, the room will freeze instantly. They visualize the latch. Is it rusted? Is the wood rotten? It is a boring, circular worry. Did I lock it? Yes. Are you sure? I think so. What if it opens? I will have to get up. I don't want to get up. This internal dialogue loops over and over. It is the hamster wheel of the insomniac. Then a new sound enters the soundscape. It comes from the street below. It is not a wagon, it is not a dog. It is the sound of metal on stone. Rhythmic, organized, clink. Step, clink. Step, clink. Step. It is the vigils, the night watch. These are the firefighters and police of Rome, a squad of men walking the patrol. They carry buckets. They carry axes. They wear hobnailed sandals with iron studs on the soles for grip. The iron studs strike the cobblestones with a distinctive sharp ring. Ching, ching, ching. They are walking slowly. They are checking for fires. They are checking for unlocked doors. The sound grows louder as they approach the building. The citizen listens intently. Are they stopping here? Is there a fire? The smell of smoke is always a fear in Rome. The insulae are fire traps. Wood, straw, oil lamps. One spark and the whole block goes up. The citizen sniffs the air in the dark. Sniff, sniff, stale air, old vinegar, sweat, the chamber pot, but no smoke, no burning wood. The heart rate slows down. The footsteps continue. Ching, ching, ching. They pass under the window. You can hear a murmur of voices. Low, gruff men talking. Keep moving. Check that corner. The voices are muffled by the thick walls, unintelligible, just a drone of human presence. Then the footsteps fade. Ching, ching, clink, silence. They are gone. The citizen is alone again. The boredom returns. The mind needs something to do. Since there are no sheep to count in the room, though the wool blanket is a close reminder, the citizen starts counting the silence. They count the breaths. Inhale, 1, exhale, 2, inhale, 3, exhale, 4. At breath number 20, the itch returns. This time it is on the bottom of the foot, the sole of the foot. This is the worst possible place for an itch. The skin there is thick but sensitive. The citizen rubs the foot against the other foot. Rub, rub. It doesn't help. They try to ignore it. The itch screams. I am here. The citizen sighs. They reach down with a hand, breaking the warmth seal of the blanket again. They find the foot. They scratch, scratch. Ah, relief. But fingers touching the foot in the dark feel strange. The foot is cold like a block of marble. The hand is warm. The contrast is startling. While the hand is down there, they feel the mattress. They feel the straw, but they feel something else. A small, hard bump on the sheet. A crumb, a seed, or a bug. The citizen squeezes the small object between the thumb and forefinger. It crumbles. It was just a piece of dried mud from the sandal brought into the bed earlier. Just dirt. Rome is dirty. The bed is dirty. You cannot escape the dust of the city. It is in the pores of the skin. It is in the fibers of the sheet. The hand goes back under the blanket. The warmth must be rebuilt again. Now the citizen tries a new position, lying on the back but with arms crossed over the chest. The sarcophagus position. It feels stable. It feels symmetrical, but the back of the head presses into the hard pillow. The neck bends forward slightly. It restricts the throat. A small cough escapes. Ka. It echoes in the silence. Ka. The neighbor in the next room stirs. You hear the wall thump, thump. Someone rolled over next door. Maybe the cough woke them up. Now the citizen feels guilty. They must be perfectly quiet. They hold their breath. Silence. The darkness seems to swirl. Phosphenes, those little patterns of light you see when you rub your eyes, start to appear in the blackness. Purple swirls, faint green grids. The brain is bored. It is making up its own entertainment. The citizen watches the purple blobs float across their vision. They float left. They float right. It is hypnotic. The sensation of the bedbug bite on the neck from an hour ago has faded to a dull warmth. The body has released its own natural antihistamines. The swelling has gone down, but the memory of the bite remains. Every time a hair moves on the leg, the brain sends a bug alert signal. The citizen twitches, then relaxes, twitches, relaxes. This is the state of hypervigilance. It is the opposite of relaxation. It is the body staying ready to fight a predator that is the size of an apple seed. It is exhausting. The cold is deeper now. It feels as if the room is slowly filling with cold water rising up from the floor. The nose is cold. The tip of the nose feels like an ice cube. The citizen buries their face into the pillow to warm the nose, but the pillow smells of dust and old straw. They turn the head back out. Cold nose, face in pillow, dust smell, cold nose, dust smell. It is a choice between two discomforts. The citizen chooses the cold nose. They lie there, feeling the tip of their nose freeze. Time is moving so slowly that it feels like it has stopped. Has it been 10 minutes? Has it been 2 hours? There is no way to know. The citizen waits for the rooster, but roosters do not crow at 2:00 a.m. There are hours left, hours of darkness, hours of the hip bone pressing into the wood, hours of the wool scratching the skin. The citizen accepts this fate. This is life. This is the night. There is nothing to do but breathe. Inhale, exhale. The room is silent. The city is silent. The bugs are waiting. The citizen is waiting. And slowly, very slowly, the breathing becomes just a little bit deeper. The twitching stops. The mind stops counting. The purple swirls fade into gray. For a brief moment, the torture pauses. A light, fragile sleep begins to descend. like a thin layer of dust settling on a quiet street. The sleep did not last. It was a shallow, gray thing, brittle as a dried leaf. It shattered the moment the body realized it was in pain. The citizen opens their eyes. They are staring into the same darkness as before. The room hasn't changed. The shadows haven't moved, but the body has changed. The citizen tries to move their right arm. It does not move. It feels heavy, like a log of wood attached to the shoulder. It feels dead. During the heavy, exhausted sleep of the last hour, the citizen had rolled onto their right side. The thin mattress of straw, compressed against the hard wooden planks of the bed, offered no give. The weight of the rib cage pressed down on the shoulder. The weight of the shoulder pressed down on the upper arm. The blood flow stopped. This is a specific kind of torture familiar to everyone, but in an unheated Roman room on a wooden plank bed, it seems worse. The citizen uses their left hand, the good hand, to reach over. They grab the dead right arm. It feels cold. It feels like it belongs to someone else. They lift it up. It flops. They drag it across the chest, trying to straighten it out, trying to encourage the blood to return. And then the sensation begins. It starts as a silence in the nerves, then a spark, tingle, then a rush, prickle, prickle, prickle. It feels like thousands of tiny ants are running inside the veins of the arm. It is the feeling of pins and needles. It is not a sharp pain, but a buzzing, electrical discomfort that makes it impossible to lie still. The citizen grimaces in the dark. They grit their teeth. They shake the hand. Flop, flop, flop. The tingling intensifies. It burns slightly. ZZZZZZT. The arm throbs. The blood is fighting its way back into the capillaries. The arm is waking up, but it is angry. The citizen lies on their back, holding the tingling wrist, waiting for the static noise in the nerves to subside. It takes a long time, 1 minute, 2 minutes. The buzzing slowly fades into a dull ache. The warmth returns to the fingertips. The arm is theirs again. But now the sleep is gone. The heart rate has risen from the panic of the dead limb. The brain is online. And because the brain is online, it notices the sound. The city has changed its tune. The heavy wagons of the earlier night have mostly reached their destinations. The thunder of wheels has subsided. Now a new sound has emerged. It is a lower, more constant sound. It is a rhythmic grinding. Ar-ra-ra-rear-rum, ar-ra-ra-rear-rum, ar-ra-ra-rear-rum. It is the sound of the pistrinum, the bakery. In ancient Rome, bread is life. And to make bread for a city of 1 million people, the work must start long before the sun comes up. Down the street, or perhaps in the ground floor of a nearby building, the millstones are turning. These are massive hourglass-shaped stones made of porous volcanic rock. They are heavy. A donkey, or perhaps a poor enslaved worker, is walking in a circle, pushing the wooden beam that turns the stone. Step, push, step, push. Stone grinds against stone. Grain is crushed into flour. Ar-ra-ra-rum, crunch, ar-ra-ra-rum. The sound travels through the earth. It travels up the foundations of the insula. It vibrates the bed frame ever so slightly. It is a drone, a mechanical, repetitive drone that creates a backdrop for the rest of the night. It is not loud enough to block out other sounds, but it is steady enough to be annoying. It is the sound of work. It reminds the citizen that the morning is coming, even though it is still pitch black. The citizen sighs, H. The breath creates a small cloud of fog in the cold room. You can't see it, but you can feel the moisture on the face. The room is at its coldest point now. The temperature has bottomed out. The nose is frozen. The ears are cold. The citizen pulls the blanket up, covering the head completely. Now they are in a cave of wool. It is warmer in here. The breath warms the small space quickly, but the air becomes stale immediately. It is hard to breathe. It is a choice. Breathe cold, fresh air and freeze the face, or breathe warm, stale air and suffocate slightly. The citizen chooses the cave. They lie there listening to their own heartbeat amplified by the enclosed space. Thump, 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 thump. But there is a smell in the cave. The wool smells of the sheep. The pillow smells of the straw, and there is another smell. A new smell. It is sharp, sickly sweet, almost like rotting raspberries or coriander. The citizen knows this smell. Every Roman knows this smell. It is the scent of a crushed bedbug. Somewhere in the tossing and turning, the citizen must have rolled onto one of the Cimex. The bug was slow. It was full of blood. It didn't escape in time. The weight of the body crushed it against the sheet. Now the scent is released. It acts as a warning signal to the other bugs, but to the human, it is just disgusting. The citizen pushes the blanket down, gasping for fresh air. Gasp. The cold air hits the face again. They wipe their cheek with the back of their hand. Is there blood on the face? Is there a smear on the linen tunic? There is no way to know. The darkness hides the evidence, but the thought is there, the feeling of being unclean. The torture of the Roman night is not just physical, it is a loss of dignity. You are a citizen of the greatest empire on earth, yet you are lying in the dark, shivering, smelling crushed insects, listening to a donkey grind grain. The citizen tries to find a clean spot on the pillow. They flip the pillow over. Flump. The other side is cooler. It feels a little fresher. They lay the head down again. Now the stomach makes a sound. Gurgle, gloop, digestion. The citizen ate a simple meal hours ago. Porridge, maybe some bread dipped in oil. It is gone now. The stomach is empty. The acid churns. Gurgle, it is not hunger exactly. It is just emptiness. The body wants breakfast, but breakfast is hours away. The citizen tries to soothe the stomach by rubbing it. Rub, rub, rub. The hand moves in slow circles over the wool blanket. It is a self-soothing gesture, like a mother comforting a child. Shh, the motion says. Go back to sleep. Outside, the wind has died down. The moaning has stopped. The silence between the grinding of the millstones is profound. In this silence, the citizen hears something falling. Drip, pause, drip. It is water. Is it raining? The citizen listens harder. No, it is not the chaotic patter of rain on the roof tiles. It is a steady, slow drip, drip, drip. It is likely a leak. The insula is poorly built. The aqueduct pipes that run to the ground floor fountain might be leaking. Or perhaps a neighbor's water jar has tipped over on the floor above. Water is seeping through the wood and plaster. Somewhere in the darkness, a drop of water is hitting a surface. Is it hitting the floor? Is it hitting a piece of furniture? Plip. The rhythm interacts with the grinding of the millstone. R-rar-rar-rum, plip, R-rar-rar-rum, plip. It is a polyrhythm of annoyance. The citizen tries to synchronize their breathing with it. Inhale on the rum, exhale on the plip. It works for a while. It creates a trance. The mind starts to drift again, not into sleep but into zoning out. The thoughts become loose and nonsensical. The citizen thinks about the donkey at the mill. Does the donkey sleep? Does the donkey have bedbugs? Probably. We are all just food for bugs. The donkey, the senator, the emperor. The bugs do not care about rank. This is a strange, comforting thought. The democracy of the bedbug. The itch returns. Of course it does. This time it is on the eyelid, the delicate skin of the eyelid. It is swelling slightly, a puffy sensation. The citizen wants to scratch it, but scratching the eye is dangerous. You can infect it, so they just press the palm of their hand against the eye socket. Pressure, heat. They hold it there. The pressure relieves the itch for a moment. When they take the hand away, the vision is blurry in that eye. The darkness looks wavy. The citizen blinks. Blink, blink. The night feels eternal. It feels like the sun has been extinguished forever. There is only this room, this box of stone and wood. The citizen feels trapped. The legs are restless. The restless leg syndrome kicks in. A creepy-crawly sensation deep inside the muscles of the calves. The legs want to run, they want to kick. The citizen flexes their feet, point the toes, hold, release, flex the heels, hold, release. The muscles stretch, it feels good, it hurts a little, stretch, crack. An ankle joint pops. The citizen settles again. They are exhausted. Deeply, deeply exhausted. But the body is too uncomfortable to shut down. It is the paradox of the Roman night. You are too tired to move, but too uncomfortable to sleep. So you lie there, you exist. You endure, you listen to the millstone, rum, rum. You listen to the drip, plip, plip. You feel the straw poking your ribs, you wait. And slowly the sheer weight of the boredom begins to win. The mind simply gives up fighting the discomfort. It accepts the itch. It accepts the noise. It surrenders. The breathing becomes heavy again. The citizen is drifting, falling back into the gray void, not because they are comfortable, but because there is nothing else to do. The darkness has changed. It is no longer the deep velvet black of midnight. It has thinned. It feels gray, though there is still no light to see by. The air in the room has grown heavier. The dry chill of the earlier night has been replaced by a damp, penetrating cold. This is the hour the Romans called Colosseum, the time of the cock crow. Listen, far away across the tile roofs of the city it begins. It is faint. A single rooster, perhaps kept in a coop on a rooftop garden or in a courtyard blocks away. The sound is thin and scratchy. Then a pause, silence. Then an answer, Another rooster closer this time. Then another. It is a slow, rippling chain reaction across the 7 hills. It is not a wake-up call for you. It is just the city's wildlife acknowledging the rotation of the earth. The citizen hears it. The eyes open. The eyelids feel heavy, glued together by sleep and the dry air. They blink slowly. Stick. Blink. The brain registers the sound of the roosters. It means the sun is coming, but the sun is slow. In the winter or early spring, the gap between the first rooster and the actual light can be an hour of gray waiting. The citizen tries to move. The body resists. After lying on a wooden plank bed for 6 or 7 hours in a cold room, the muscles have seized up. The joints feel like they are rusted. The citizen moves a leg. The knee pops loudly. Crack. The sound is startlingly loud in the quiet room. They try to flex the fingers. The knuckles are stiff. The cold has settled deep into the bones. The wool blanket now feels different. It feels damp. The moisture from the breath, the condensation from the air, has settled onto the fabric. It feels heavy and clammy. It no longer holds the heat as well as it did. The citizen pulls it up to the nose, but the wool smells strongly of wet dog now. Sniff. It is an unpleasant, organic smell. The smell of a wet animal. Let us check on the enemy, the Cimex, the bedbugs. By this hour, the war is mostly over. The temperature has dropped too low for them to be active. They are cold-blooded. The pre-dawn chill slows them down. They have fed. They are full. Now they are retreating. Slowly, clumsily, they crawl back into the cracks of the wooden frame. They squeeze back into the joints of the bed. They are leaving the battlefield. But they have left their mark. The citizen feels the aftermath. The itch is no longer a sharp, surprising sensation. It is a dull, throbbing map of the night's events. There is a welt on the neck. It pulses with a low heat. There is a cluster of bites on the forearm. There is a spot on the ankle that burns if the blanket touches it. The citizen does not scratch anymore. They are too tired to scratch. They simply accept the irritation as a part of their body, like a headache or a bruise. The silence of the building is breaking. The insula is waking up. Not everyone sleeps until sunrise. The working poor, the laborers, the porters, the slaves must rise now. Listen to the ceiling. Creak. Boom. Someone on the floor above has swung their legs out of bed. Heavy feet hit the floorboards. Thump. 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 Slow, heavy steps. The steps of a man who does not want to be awake. You hear the scrape of a door opening. The hinges are rusty. Ee. Then the sound of the door closing. Bang. Then footsteps on the stairs. The stairs of a Roman apartment block are often made of wood on the upper levels. They are steep and narrow. Clomp. 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 The sound descends. It fades as the worker reaches the lower floors. Inside the room, the citizen feels a sense of solidarity with the walker. They are both awake. They are both cold. They are both enduring the Roman mourning, but the citizen does not have to get up yet. They have a little more time. This extra time should be a luxury, but in this bed, it is just an extension of the ordeal. The bladder is full again. The thirst is back, but to get up now would be madness. The air is at its absolute coldest. To leave the damp warmth of the blanket would be painful, so the citizen holds it. They lie perfectly still. They try to generate heat by clenching their muscles. Clench the thighs, hold, release. Clench the glutes, hold, release. It warms the blood slightly. A tiny furnace inside the blanket. The light is changing. Very, very slowly, the absolute black of the room is turning into a dark, grainy charcoal. The outline of the window shutter becomes visible. Not the details, just the square shape of it. Light is leaking in through the cracks. It is not sunlight. It is the diffuse, blue-gray light of the pre-dawn sky. It is a cold light. It looks cold. It makes the room feel colder just by looking at it. The citizen stares at the square of gray. They watch the dust motes dancing in the faint beam of light. The dust is everywhere. It floats in the air, disturbed by the movement of the blanket. It is a mixture of straw dust, wool fibers, dried mud, and skin cells. The citizen breathes it in. Inhale. Exhale. The stomach growls again. Gurgle, louder this time. The body knows the rooster has crowed. The body expects grain, but there is no food in the room. The citizen swallows the saliva in their mouth to trick the stomach. Gulp. It doesn't work. The stomach tightens, a cramp of hunger. Down on the street, the sounds of the city are shifting from night logistics to morning preparation. You hear the sound of a broom, swish, swish, swish. A shopkeeper on the ground floor is sweeping the pavement in front of their stall. The bristles of the broom scrape against the stone. It is a rhythmic, calming sound. Swish, swish, cleaning away the filth of the night, preparing for the customers. You hear the sound of water splashing. Splash. Someone has thrown a bucket of dirty water into the gutter. Then a voice. A cough. Hock. 2. A mourning clearing of the throat. It is gross, but it is human. It is the sound of life restarting. The citizen turns onto their back one last time. The straw mattress is completely compressed now. It feels like lying on a bag of rocks. The hips hurt, the shoulders hurt, the neck is stiff. The citizen rubs their face with both hands. Rub, rub, rub. The skin of the face feels greasy. The eyes feel gritty. They run their fingers through their hair. It is matted and messy. There is no shower to take. There is no hot coffee machine to turn on. There is only the prospect of putting on the sandals, wrapping the toga or cloak, and facing the day. But not yet. Just a few more minutes. The citizen closes their eyes against the gray light. They try to capture the last fragment of rest. They drift into a light doze. It is not sleep. It is just closing the eyes to avoid looking at the cold room. It is a conscious refusal to start the day. In this half state, the sounds of the sweeping broom merge with the sound of the heart. Swish, thump, thump, swish, thump, thump. The bedbugs are asleep in the wood. The citizen is awake in the wool. The roles have reversed. The night is ending, but the torture of the morning stiffness has just begun. It is boring, it is gray, it is inevitable. The gray of the room has shifted. It is no longer the charcoal of deep night. It is now a pale, dusty blue. The light is weak. It has no warmth in it yet. It merely reveals the world as it is, cold, hard, and still. This is the diliculum, the twilight before the sunrise. The citizen opens their eyes again. The doze lasted only a few minutes. It was fragile, easily broken by the sound of a shutter slamming somewhere down the street. Now the eyes stay open. The room is finally visible. For hours, the citizen has only felt the room. Now they can see it. It is not an impressive sight. The walls are painted a simple cream color, but the paint is peeling near the floor. You can see the rough brickwork underneath. There is a crack running diagonally across the ceiling. It has been there for years. The citizen knows every curve of that crack. It looks like a river on a map. In the corner, a spider web catches the weak morning light. It trembles slightly in the draft. The spider is still. It is waiting, just like the citizen. The oil lamp, extinguished hours ago, sits on the table. It looks small and greasy in the daylight. A thin trail of soot marks the wall above it, a black smudge that grows a little taller every night. The citizen moves their hand out from under the blanket. The air is startlingly cold. It is the coldest moment of the 24-hour cycle. The sun has not yet risen to heat the stones, but the earth has lost all its stored heat from yesterday. The skin of the arm bumps with goose flesh immediately. The citizen looks at their forearm. In the pale blue light, the map of the night is revealed. There are 3 red marks, small raised welts. They are in a line. This is the signature of the bedbug, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 bites in a row as the bug walked along the vein. The citizen stares at them. There is no anger left, only a dull recognition. Ah, there you are. They run a thumb over the bites. They are hard to the touch. They do not itch right now. The cold air has numbed the skin. They just look ugly, a red reminder of the violation. The citizen pulls the arm back under the wool. It is the last retreat. The bed is now a place of conflict. It is warm, but it is infested. It is soft-ish, but it is dirty. To stay is to surrender to the bugs. To leave is to surrender to the cold. Outside, the volume of the city is turning up. It is not a sudden roar, but a gradual layering of sounds. You hear the heavy, rhythmic thud of a pestle in a mortar. Thump, thump, thump. Someone is grinding spices or herbs for the day's market. You hear the cry of a water seller. Aqua, aqua, the voice is hoarse. It echoes off the stone walls. Water is life. The citizens who do not have a fountain in their courtyard, which is almost everyone, need water for washing, for cooking. The seller is early. He wants the first coin of the morning. The citizen listens to the footsteps on the stairs of the insula. It is busier now. Clomp, clomp, clomp. Going down, shuffle, shuffle, going up. The building is inhaling and exhaling people. The morning shift is beginning. Inside the room, the citizen sits up. It is a slow, agonizing movement. The abdominal muscles are stiff. The back pops. They sit on the edge of the bed, the wool blanket wrapped around their shoulders like a cape. They look like a statue of a tired Roman. They stare at the floor. The terracotta tiles are dusty. In the light, you can see the debris of the night. A single sandal lying on its side. The chamber pot peeking out from under the bed frame. And there near the leg of the table, a small dark speck. The citizen leans forward, squinting. Is it a Cimex? No, it is just a dead fly. The bedbugs are gone. They are deep in the wood now, digesting the blood of the citizen. They are safe. They will sleep all day just as the citizen goes to work. It is an unfair arrangement. The citizen rubs their face with both hands. The sound of skin rubbing against skin is loud in the quiet room. Swish rub. They run their hands through their hair. It stands up in odd directions. They need to wash, but there is no tap. They look at the pitcher on the table. There is a little water left from the night. It will be freezing cold. The citizen sighs. H. They reach for the cup. They pour a small amount of water into their cupped hand. The water shocks the skin. Splash. They rub it over their eyes. It wakes them up instantly. The shock is sharp and effective. They wipe their face with the edge of the blanket. The wool is scratchy, acting as a towel. Now the bed must be made. Not because it matters, but because it is the routine. The citizen stands up. The knees creak. The cold air wraps around the bare legs. The tunic offers little protection. They turn to look at the bed. The mattress is a mess. The straw has been pushed to the sides, leaving a valley in the middle where the body lay. The blanket is twisted. The citizen grabs the corners of the mattress. They shake it. Shake, shake, shake. The straw rustles. Dust flies up into the air, dancing in the blue light. They punch the middle of the mattress. Thump, thump, trying to fluff it up for the next night. It is a futile task. It will never be fluffy, but they do it anyway. They pull the wool blanket straight. They smooth it down. The bed looks neat again. It looks innocent. Looking at it now in the dim morning light, you would never know it was a torture device. It looks rustic, simple, but the citizen knows, the skin on the arm knows. The room is silent again for a moment. The spider in the corner has not moved. The dust is settling. The citizen looks at the window shutter. Through the cracks, the light is turning from blue to a very pale yellow. The sun is hitting the tops of the hills. The day has officially begun. There is no more waiting. There is no more trying to sleep. The sleep is over. The nightmare is paused until sunset. Now the boredom of the day begins. The citizen reaches for their sandals. They bend down. The blood rushes to the head. They pick up the left sandal. The leather is stiff and cold. They slide the foot in. Slide. They begin to tie the lace. Loop. Pull. Knot. It is a slow, methodical action, focusing on the leather strap, focusing on the knot. The night is finished. The body is tired. The mind is numb. But the empire does not care. The empire needs its citizen to stand up, walk out the door, and begin the day. The first sandal is on. It sits snugly on the left foot, the leather straps crisscrossing over the cold skin of the ankle. The sole is hard, a piece of cured ox hide that offers no cushion against the tiles. Now the citizen must attend to the right foot. This requires a shift in balance, a slow transfer of weight. The citizen leans to the left. The bed frame creaks again as they use it for support. They reach down. The fingers fumble on the floor for the second sandal. It has slid slightly under the table during the night. The citizen has to stretch. The spine pulls tight. A groan escapes the lips. Ugh. It is the sound of morning stiffness leaving the body. They retrieve the sandal. They place it on the floor. The foot slides in. The leather is stiff from the cold night air. It resists the shape of the foot. The fingers begin the work of the laces. Pull, loop, tuck. The leather makes a dry, scraping sound, skrrrrt. The knot is tied. It is tight. Maybe too tight. The citizen pauses. They wiggle their toes. It is acceptable. They do not retie it. It is too much effort to start over. The citizen stands up fully. They are now shod. They are technically ready for the world, though the mind is still foggy. They look down at their tunic. It is a simple garment, undyed wool or linen reaching to the knees. It is wrinkled. Gravity has pulled wrinkles into the back where they lay on it. The citizen smooths the fabric down with flat palms. Brush, brush. It does not help much. The wrinkles are set, but in Rome, everyone is wrinkled in the morning. They reach for their belt, a simple strip of leather or rope. They wrap it around the waist. They pull it tight. The stomach is compressed. The hunger pangs are silenced for a moment by the pressure of the belt. They tuck the loose end of the tunic up over the belt to create a pouch or sinus. This is the pocket of the ancient world. They check the pouch. Is there anything in there? A small coin, a scrap of papyrus? Empty, just lint. The citizen looks around the room one last time. The bed is empty. The blanket is flat. The window shutter is still leaking that pale, sickly light. The citizen feels a strange reluctance to leave. Even though the room is cold and the bed is full of bugs, it is private. Out there beyond the door is the city. Out there is the noise, the crowd, the demands. But staying is not an option. The citizen walks to the door 3 steps, clack, clack, clack. The sandals sound loud on the tiles. They reach for the latch. It is a simple iron hook. It is cold to the touch. The metal sucks the heat from the fingertips. They lift the hook, clink. They pull the door, it sticks. The wood has swollen with the dampness of the night. They pull harder, scratchy. The bottom of the door drags across the floor. It is a harsh, vibrating sound. The door opens. The hallway is darker than the room. There are no windows here. It smells different. It smells of wood smoke. Someone on a lower floor has lit a brazier to cook breakfast. The smell is thick and heavy. It smells of burning charcoal and perhaps burnt porridge. It is a comforting smell, yet it reminds the throat that it is dry. The citizen steps out into the hall. They turn back and pull the door shut. Scratchy, thud. The latch falls back into place. Clink. The room is sealed. The bugs are locked in. The citizen is locked out. Now begins the descent. The citizen lives on the 4th floor of the insula. That means 4 flights of stairs. There is no elevator. There is only gravity and knees. They walk to the edge of the stairwell. The stairs are narrow, steep. The steps are made of wood that has been worn smooth by thousands of sandals over dozens of years. In the center of each step, the wood dips down slightly, a valley carved by feet. The citizen takes the first step, creak. The banister is just a rope attached to the wall or a rough wooden rail. The citizen runs their hand along it as they descend. The wood of the rail is polished and greasy from human touch. It feels slick. Step 2, thud. Step 3, thud. The citizen counts them subconsciously. They know every loose board. They know that the 7th step on this flight squeaks loudly. Here it comes. Step 6. Step 7. Squeak. There it is, the morning greeting of the building. As they descend, the air changes. The 4th floor was freezing. The 3rd floor is slightly warmer. The 2nd floor is warmer still. Heat rises, but in an insula, the warmth of the cooking fires from the ground floor creates a gradient. The smell of food gets stronger. Garlic, boiled grain, fish sauce garum. The smells mix together in the stairwell, creating a thick, savory fog. On the landing of the 2nd floor, a door opens. A neighbor steps out. He is an older man. He wears a faded brown tunic. He holds a bucket. He looks at the citizen. The citizen looks at him. They do not smile. They do not wave. They simply nod, a microscopic dip of the chin. I survived the night, the nod says. I also survived, the neighbor's nod replies. That is all. Rome is crowded. If you greeted everyone, you would never get anything done. The neighbor turns and walks down the hall. Shuffle, shuffle. The citizen continues down. The light is getting better. The ground floor has larger openings to the street. Daylight is flooding the bottom of the stairwell. It illuminates the dust floating in the air, a chaotic swirl of particles. The noise of the street is no longer muffled. It is right there, the shout of a mule driver. Make way, the hammer of a blacksmith, clang, 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 the barking of dogs. The citizen reaches the bottom step. They pause. They adjust the strap of their left sandal. It was rubbing slightly against the heel. They scratch the welt on their neck one last time. The itch is fading, replaced by the friction of the tunic collar. They stand before the main archway that leads to the street, the threshold. Behind them is the Tower of Sleep, the Tower of Silence, the Tower of the Bedbug. Ahead of them is the chaos of the Empire. The citizen takes a deep breath. They inhale the street air. It smells of horses, mud, baking bread, and unwashed bodies. It is the smell of reality. They step forward. The sandal hits the cobblestone of the street. Crunch. The sensation underfoot changes from wood to stone, hard, uneven stone. The night is officially gone. The torture of lying still is over. The torture of walking and working begins. But at least out here, the bugs are not biting. The citizen merges into the flow of people, a drop of water entering a river, moving slowly, without purpose other than to survive another day. The citizen is now outside. The ceiling of the room has been replaced by the sky. It is a pale, milky blue, streaked with long, thin clouds that look like stretched wool. The sun is low, hidden behind the tall outline of a temple roof down the street. It casts long, sharp shadows across the cobblestones. The air on the street is different from the air in the room. It moves. A breeze channels down the narrow alleyway. It carries the smell of the Tiber River, damp mud and weeds. It carries the smell of wood smoke from 100 breakfast fires. It brushes against the citizen's face, drying the skin that is still greasy from sleep. The citizen walks, step, step, step. The pace is slow. There is no need to run. The day is long and energy must be conserved. The sandals slap against the large polygonal paving stones. These stones are basalt, hard, volcanic rock. They are uneven. Some are sunk deep into the mud, others stick up slightly. The citizen's eyes are fixed on the ground, scanning the path. Avoid the puddle. Avoid the donkey droppings. Avoid the rotting cabbage leaf. It is a boring, necessary navigation. The destination is close. You can hear it before you see it. Splash, gurgle, splash. It is the sound of the neighborhood fountain, the lacus. In modern life, water comes to you. In ancient Rome, you go to the water. The fountain sits at the intersection of two streets. It is a rectangular stone basin, waist-high, fed by a lead pipe that comes out of a stone block. The stone block is carved with a face, perhaps a lion, perhaps a minor river god, but time and water have erased the details. The lion's nose is gone. The eyes are just smooth depressions. The mouth of the carving holds the pipe. Water flows out of it in a steady, clear stream. Whoosh. It falls into the basin, creating a constant, churning disturbance. The basin is overflowing. The excess water spills over the worn stone lip and runs into a drain in the street. There is a line. Of course there is a line. Rome is a city of waiting. 3 people are ahead of the citizen. A slave with 2 empty amphorae balanced on his shoulders. A woman holding a bucket. An old man washing his hands. The citizen stops. They take their place in the queue. They wait. This is a moment of stillness in the movement of the morning. The citizen looks at the back of the woman's head. She is wearing a gray shawl. A loose thread hangs from the hem. The citizen watches the thread twitch in the breeze. Twitch, twitch. It is mesmerizing. It is boring. The sound of the water dominates the ears. SPLSHHHHHHH. It is white noise. It drowns out the distant conversations. It drowns out the thoughts. The citizen stares at the water hitting the surface of the basin. Bubbles form, swirl, and pop. Bubble forms, swirls, pops. Bubble forms, swirls, pops. It is an endless cycle. The line moves, shuffle. The slave fills his jars. The water creates a deeper, hollow sound as it hits the bottom of the empty clay vessel. Glug, 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 he lifts them. He leaves. The woman steps up. She dips her bucket. Slosh, she leaves. Now the old man is finished. He shakes his wet hands. Drops of water fly onto the pavement. Splat. It is the citizen's turn. They step up to the basin. The stone rim is cold against the stomach as they lean forward. It is wet and slippery with moss. The citizen cups their hands. They thrust them under the stream of water coming from the lion's mouth. The water is freezing. It comes from the mountains, miles away, carried underground or on high arches, staying cool in the stone channels. It hits the warm hands like ice. The citizen brings the water to their face. Splash, they gasp. Allah. They rub the water into their eyes, into the forehead, into the neck. They scrub behind the ears. The shock of the cold is the only caffeine they will get. It tightens the skin. It forces the eyes to open wider. They take a mouthful of water. They swish it around. Swish, swish, swish. They spit it out into the drain, too. They use a finger to rub their teeth. Some Romans use crushed oyster shells or charcoal to clean their teeth. The citizen has none of that right now, just the finger and the water. It is a rudimentary clean, better than nothing. They splash the back of their neck. This is important. The neck is where the bedbug bites are. The cold water soothes the inflammation. The heat of the welt subsides for a moment. The citizen sighs, a release of tension. They stand there for a second longer than necessary, letting the water run over their wrists, cooling the blood. For a brief moment, standing at the fountain, the citizen feels clean. The dust of the mattress is washed away. The smell of the vinegar is gone. The water is pure. It is the one thing in Rome that is truly clean. But they cannot stay. Behind them, someone coughs. A hum. The line has grown. A new person is waiting, a porter with a heavy load. He looks impatient. The citizen must move. They shake their hands dry. There is no towel. The air will dry them. They step away from the basin. Step. They merge back into the street. The skin on the face feels tight as the water evaporates. The hands are red from the cold, but the citizen is awake. The transition is complete. The nightmare of the bed is now a memory. The reality of the day is here. The citizen turns left down a wider street. The sun has finally cleared the roof of the temple. A beam of golden light hits the cobblestones ahead. Steam rises from the damp stones where the sun hits. It looks like the street is smoking. The stomach growls again. Gurgle. The water did not fill it. It only woke it up. It is time to find bread. It is time to find work. It is time to be a Roman. The citizen walks toward the light. The pace is steady, rhythmic, boring, just one foot in front of the other. Clack, clack, clack. The sun has finally won the battle against the stone. The narrow street, which was a tunnel of blue shadows just minutes ago, is now cut in half by a sharp line of light. The citizen stands in the sunlight. They do not move. They simply stand there, letting the photons hit the wool of their tunic. You can almost feel the fibers of the wool expanding, warming up, releasing that faint smell of dampness and turning it into a smell of dry warmth. The cold travels out of the bones. The stiffness in the shoulders begins to melt. It is a simple physical pleasure, the warmth of a star hitting a tired human body. In the citizen's hand is a piece of bread. It was bought from a street vendor a few steps back. It is a round loaf, the size of a small plate. It is scored into 8 sections like a wheel. The bread is not fresh from the oven right this second. It was baked in the middle of the night while the citizen was listening to the wagons. But it is solid. It is real. The citizen tears off a piece. Rip. The crust is hard. It resists the hand. They put the piece in their mouth. Crunch. It is dry. It requires work to eat. The jaw must move up and down. Chew, chew, chew. It tastes of wheat, nothing else, just wheat and a little bit of ash from the oven floor. It is not a flavor explosion, it is fuel. The citizen chews slowly, staring at a patch of moss on a wall across the street. They are not thinking about the future of the empire. They are not thinking about the emperor. They are thinking about the bread, how it turns into paste in the mouth, how it settles the stomach. Swallow, the bread goes down. The hunger pangs stop. The body is satisfied. Around the citizen, the city of Rome has fully awakened. But from this distance, it is not chaotic. It is just a hum. It is a low-frequency vibration of thousands of sandals, thousands of voices, thousands of wheels. It sounds like the ocean. A steady, rhythmic tide of humanity. The citizen looks at the people passing by. A man in a white toga walking with purpose. A woman carrying a basket of green vegetables. A boy chasing a hoop. None of them look tired, but they are. They all slept on straw. They all heard the wagons. They all have a bite mark somewhere on their skin. It is a shared secret. The bedbug nightmare is not unique to the citizen. It is the baseline of existence here. The citizen finishes the last bite of bread. They wipe the crumbs from their hands. Brush, brush, the crumbs fall to the cobblestones. Within seconds, a small brown bird swoops down and takes one. Flutter, peck, gone, nothing is wasted. The itch on the neck has stopped. The sunlight has distracted the nerves. The cold water has numbed the skin. For the next 12 hours, the bedbugs do not exist. The room does not exist. The darkness does not exist. There is only the sun, the stone, and the work. The citizen takes a deep breath. The air is warming up. It smells of dust and day. They adjust their belt one last time. They step out of the patch of sunlight and into the flow of the street. They begin to walk toward their destination, a workshop, a stall, a counter. It doesn't matter where. They become just another back in the crowd, just another head bobbing up and down in the river of people. You can stop watching them now. They are fine. They are safe. They are boring. They will walk to work. They will work all day. They will eat again. And then when the sun goes down, they will return to the room. They will climb the stairs. They will open the door. They will light the lamp. And they will do it all over again. The cycle is a circle. It has no end. It requires no attention. It just spins, slowly, quietly, forever. The street is empty of the citizen now. There is just the sunlight on the wall and the silence of the history books. The story is over. The night is done. You can rest.